today's video, I want to talk about book 2 in the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. So let's talk about Iron Flame. So for those of you who don't know yet, Iron Flame is book 2 of the Fourth Wing series, which is actually called the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. If you haven't seen my video with my opinion on Fourth Wing yet, feel free to check it out first, as today we're going to continue on what I've talked about in that video. Now, first things first, let's talk about the demographic for both books. Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, in my opinion, are written for the same demographic because we follow the same characters. They have aged by 1 year, more or less, but that doesn't make a really big difference in what's happening to them and the writing style of the book, etc. So I feel that this book, again, is like a young adult, new adult, whatever you want to call it. You definitely have to be 18 plus because there is some like sexual activity described in the books. But other than that, I feel like this is a very young written book. And I actually started reading this book the moment it came out. Why? First of all, because it'd been hyped everywhere. Even before Iron Flame was released, there had already been a lot of talking about this book and also about the special edition of Fourth Wing with the extra chapter that Rebecca Yarros was releasing. This was like a quiet mystery, but it actually helped building up the hype for the book. Now, Iron Flame has been released. There have been release parties. People have been doing countdowns. Some people got their book in the mail early because of a mistake of Amazon warehouses. Like, it has been everywhere. So I personally have ordered special editions of both Fourth Wing and Iron Flame because I loved Fourth Wing, and I can now tell you that I also loved Iron Flame. So I actually read it on the digital version, so I bought the ebook version and I read it on my e-reader, and I don't think I've actually finished a big book this fast. This book was over 700 pages long, and I think I finished it in 3 to 4 days, which even for me is pretty fast. Now, in Iron Flame, we continue on the story of Violet Sorrengail, and I will be talking a tiny bit in spoilers in this book. So please do bear this in mind if you continue watching this video, that you will know a few things that happen in the book. We start the book off at the same place where we ended the previous one, in the rebuilt city where the resistance is and where Brennan, Violet's brother who she thought was dead for 6 years, actually resides, together with other people that formed this resistance movement. We get a little bit more insight on how they work, on what they want to do, what they want to achieve, what they already have, what they don't have, etc. But a lot of mystery is kept there, and the decision is made for the students who have actually come there to go back to Basquiat to continue their second year or their final year of their studies and actually graduate. So they actually give a bit of information, but not everything, because there is a mind reader in the school and they have to try and keep everything as secret as possible. So Violet returns to school and they actually try and just continue as if not really much happened. Well, the fight, of course, at the end of book 1 happened, but they give it a different twist. So it's not entirely clear to the school like what exactly happened. All they know is that they're back, even if some people know they shouldn't have been back. And they continue their school year, and some of them graduate, some of them get sent to outposts to actually fight in the war that is happening and defend where they live. And some of the other students simply continue. So we keep following the main character Violet. We jump between Violet and Xaden in some of the chapters, but the overall ambiance of the second book is you continue on building on what was already said in the first book. Now, we do get a lot more information on the second party, which was supposed to be the main enemy of the Dragon Riders. So this is the Griffins. We get a lot more information on them in the second book. We explore more of the world, we see more of the world in book 2, and we also discover more and more about the Wyvern that has actually been kept secret from the Dragon Riders. So we actually get to know a lot more about the world in this book. Now, this book could have been very information-packed and super heavy. However, I feel like it was very fast-paced. You get a lot of information, but it didn't feel forced. It all flowed with the story, which I personally really enjoyed. Other things about this book that I do want to point out is that, again, it ends on a huge cliffhanger. So at the end of book 2, you will have another cliffhanger, and I cannot wait for book 3 because of it. And I'm very impatient, and I hope they will announce when it comes out very soon. Hopefully next week they would announce it by the time I'm recording this video, of course. So we'll see whenever it gets announced that book 3 will come out, but I for sure know that I will be looking out for it and reading it as soon as it releases. The final thing that I want to say before jumping to my conclusion about this book is that the writing style hasn't really changed from book 1. I was hoping that a few improvements would have been made. Like there were some weird sentences that if you're reading through the story, it doesn't really jump out, but if you start looking at them, it's like, why is this a sentence? And also the writing style is quite immature. There's a lot of fucking this and fucking that, not the sexual interaction, but just like use of the word fucking for a lot of things, which I find quite like, there's a lot more words that you could use. So I feel like sometimes maybe the vocabulary was a little bit lacking, but of course, I'm not a writer. I'm not sure how she writes, how her writing process works. I know it will probably connect with the younger people, but for me, it felt a little bit unfinished, raw at the edges and a little bit immature. But that's of course my opinion. So honestly, if you liked Fourth Wing, I know that you will like Iron Flame as well, as it continues on the same line. So the elements that Fourth Wing and Iron Flame have that I personally think make it such a big success is that it is like a school system or like a war system where you have to grow up and get up in the ranks, etc. I also feel, of course, like the dragons are a big impact on it. There's also a magic system that I personally really enjoy. And of course, there is a little bit of romance line, the families that are split up, getting together, etc. So I feel like also there is a lot of things that you discover. It's not clear from day one what everyone is doing, what is going on. So you discover it through the books, and I personally really enjoyed it as well. So for me personally, Iron Flame is another 5-star read for me. I personally super enjoyed it, and I finished the book in a matter of 3 to 4 days for around 700 pages. That is really fast for me. And I must say, I'm really looking forward to book 3. So if you have read Iron Flame as well, I would love to know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. And if you haven't read yet Fourth Wing or Iron Flame, what is holding you back? Because I would love to know as well. The links to both Fourth Wing and Iron Flame will be in the description of this video, as well as a link to my Goodreads should you want to know what I am currently reading. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye!